I've been listening to that ASMR, you know. Oh
Well,
damn.
you gotta have something in the
Hey,
background.
everyone be bro, fuck it. Nah, they're going A, brother. That's good.
This this the same one? I
Hey,
think
funny
it's.
fake B hopping. Let's see. I don't think so.
I should probably just
Oh,
make
that
a new
nigga's ass,
script.
bro. That nigga's garbage. Pull up, pull up. Get to D, get to D. Yo, it's pressing 4 thinking I'm playing Valorant, bro. I'm tripping.
I just started streaming.
How about you, what's your name? Flash Guard? So you be doing like programming and shit? Let me turn you up a little bit. Turn you loud. What? That's such a nice feature. What the fuck? Mag 7. Mag 7 down right. Down mid, bro. Fuck it.
All right. Let's see. Streaming space. I'm not gonna be doing that. Void. Intimate.
Oh my god.
Forgot how loud that was. Make sure. Gotta make sure everything's running. There we go. Yeah. I also need to change the audio rate for uh chat board. Just a little bit higher. Okay, let's see. What has he ever
We
written?
got this, bro. Believe in us.
Something. Go.
Oh, I ain't even got Pico. This nigga's making the most fucking noise like a dumb fucking. What's up, nigga? He's watching this. Why is no one on here, bro? Guy's tripping.
Okay, we'll leave that the same.
Alright.
Um, under int, he has hello and they moved.
Nah, no fucking shit.
And
We're getting mopped, man. The only thing we'll save is Mag 7 Rush, bro. Hey, bro, Mag 7 Rush down mid, bro. Just like, fuck it, you feel me?
there we go. That's close. Okay.
Mag 7 Rush, 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 rush. Bro, these niggas didn't push out with me. Why did they stay back? These guys are fucking shit. We could have killed all 3 of them. This nigga's crosshair. Oh, nice shot. What the fuck?
bracket out close and
Guys, I believe in us.
uh,
Let's get two on A, two on B,
big
then one on
function
mid. Alright? Keep it simple.
because you're there. Ah, yeah, there's no end line there. Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Mid rough,
Done.
man. Mid rough.
All right, continuing on.
Oh my god. Fuck, that shit hurt. You fucking bitch. Oh, really smoked that? Oh, they're pushing. Oh shit.
Yeah, but it's in the wrong order.
That fucking bitch with the AK, bro. Oh my god, he's tripping. Why would he do that? Nigga knows exactly where you are. My guy, you're tripping. Oh my god. Good shit, homie. I'm pulling out the op, bro. Let's see how I do. Nigga, no one watching mid, bro? You guys fucking bugging? That was on him, my nigga. You're like, what? Nah, bro. That would have hit in CSGO, bro. For sure. Oop, that is so bad, bro. Need AK for them. No,
Library.
that's bullshit, my guy. Bruh. talk about that one. That was a big throw, bro. Come on, bro. Mid, bro. Y'all didn't check mid. Oh, Lord. They no smoke lineups, bro. Fuck that. Yeah, that's a good one. Fuck. That pussy nigga is fucking ego pick me, bro.
Justin, I played Destiny 2 with a friend through NVIDIA GeForce Now. What the hell happened to that game?
I have no idea. Figure it
Solutions.
out.
Okay, Solution Explorer, got it. Open Solution Explorer,
Let me sit up because this nigga
locate your
pissed.
project. Solution Explorer, find the project. Right click the project. Open the context menu. Select Add New Item.
I need someone to watch fucking mid, bro.
Um, New items, add a new item dialog box. Choose the header file template. Header file. Here we go. Sweet. Thank you, ChatGPT. Amazing fucking.
I fucking threw that, bro. I'm so fucking rusty. That's horrible, bro.
Actually, that gives me another idea. How the fuck do I even do that? How to hey Crimson,
Hmm?
question.
What?
I've noticed in a lot of scripting videos and stuff, people usually have many tabs open for their projects, and they have multiple tabs where they can just click on it and go to that tab to work on another project. Like, say they're wanting to like add in, like say they're wanting to add in stuff to a header file, right, or other things like that on the side.
You're never expecting
Do
that.
you have you done that in Visual Studio yet?
No,
Mm.
I haven't opened Visual Studio like that. I know you can separate a specific project
Because what I
into
don't
your.
understand is like, why is there? Oh, here. Okay, so okay, wait a minute. Did I just answer my own question? Hold on. I just answer my own fucking question. Add new item, and I'll just fucking make this CPP file. We'll just say CPP source. We'll go change it to prototype test. Add. Yeah, okay, that's how you fucking do it. So the reason why I haven't been able to flip through them is because of the fact that I literally haven't they're not in the folder. They're not in the folder I'm working in. And every time I open a project, it's in that folder. And I'm an idiot.
It's all good.
Okay. That's, I mean, because it's really handy. It would be really inefficient to have to jump from folder to folder all the time if you're wanting to work on multiple things in one project. So that's why I was asking. Okay, now that that's done. Derp, 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 herpy derp.
Thank you, bro.
So I'm gonna go ahead and that in though, because I don't. If def
Holy shit, I had to sweat for that one, bro. That was insane. Yeah, this guy is shot out as fuck.
oh, I have to put it. I have to put it in there.
Mid, mid, mid. Okay.
There we go. Should be valid. If define utils h, define utils h, and if
Oh, he was close. That's all.
define
I almost killed myself.
I think it's funny. I spent like I want to say last week trying to add a library for a header file for the running a box script that I got from GPT to poke around on. And I spent forever and a day trying to add the damn header and to add the library that goes with it. And oh my god, that was so annoying. But I mean, I was getting ahead of myself also. And also ChatGPT told me exactly how to do it, but unfortunately, I was clicking the wrong part of the properties tab. There's one for the folder, and there's one for the item, and I was clicking for the item and not the folder. Derp.
Oh, I still got it. Let's go, bro. My bad, bro. I haven't been on this shit in like a fat minute, dog. I had like that session where I just like play Minecraft for the year type shit. Damn, I didn't buy no smokes, bro.
Uh, hey Crimson,
What
do
up?
you for like header files and stuff, right? And programming, do you generally just have just the command there, or do you actually have the entire line normally? Like the actual execution of that code?
You mean the beginner line or the just the full execution?
The execution of the line. So like for now I have do something, and then in the code or in the project I actually have like what the code does. And then I have do something as is added into the header, but it has to reference, it can go to the header to grab the file, to grab it, but it has to get it from this project specifically. I was wondering, do people generally put um the actual, the entire line and the actual command into the header as a reference?
I have no idea because I've seen it done
Because I
in a
mean,
lot of different ways.
wouldn't that be better to have like the actual command in the library as well? Because then it can just reference the command, and then gets it from the reference command in the header, grab the item from the header, and then execute it in the program, like in the actual thing. Because you're like with headers, you're basically creating your own little library of executions. So that's why it's weird. Like here, like I'll since neither one of us know, I'll be goofy and I'll ask ChatGPT. Oh, what's this? I just got a message from Tao. Second, need to. Was that over? Ooh, ooh.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. That's a fucking crazy pace of plan, bro.
Is
Oh
you
my
know how
god.
hard it's gonna be to play Left 4 Dead? How hard it's gonna be to play Left 4 Dead with Tao without speaking any English? like
And there
like
isn't a phone
while
system, so
during a
there's no.
horde invasion, right? Like how am I going to quickly tell her something during the horde invasion? Oh my god. I need to figure out words for like ahead and stuff, or follow me, or not that way. I need to learn those words for it. That's great. I'll grab my Steam real quick and I'll show her a picture. Ah, no, none. Oh, that too. Tip it. Snapshot.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, let me ask ChatGPT real quick. Where's the
Yo, these niggas with the free fires are pretty
back to
insane.
window? The view store lines for
Nice try, bro. That was perfect, though.
definitions for headers. Side header file. Yes, you can store definitions, implementation details, or a function, or functions, classes, and other entities inside the header file in the C++. However, it's generally not recommended to include implementation details in header files because doing so can lead to multiple definition errors when the header file is included in the multiple sources. Instead, it's common to practice to separate declarations such as class definitions, function prototypes, and definitions into header files and implementations, such as functions, bodies, and class member function definitions, into source files for CPPs. Here's an example of how to define a function inside a header file. See, define header file function, add int a, int b, function define add int a, int b, turn a, b, end definition. In C++, is there a way to, is there a library you can store definitions inside for the header file or when writing a project? The goal of this would be to make sure that project files always have the definitions for a library that you create on the side. So you don't have to create the definitions inside the actual thing, you just have the reference definitions. Because it would make it easier. It would be less crowded, and you would have less issues with where you put it. Do a ChatGPT. Wait. Uh-oh. I grabbed the wrong one. Oh no! Shit! Oh fuck! I done fucked up, man. It was supposed to be Left 4 Dead 2, not Left 4 Dead 1. I want to uninstall. It's already uninstalled. Fuck! How do I return a game? Fuck!
Go to account, and it'll take you a bit to return it.
How long?
Maybe a day.
Uh, I need to do that quickly then.
If you haven't played it, it might be quicker.
I haven't even played it. I haven't opened it. Where the fuck? In settings, account. Come on.
Go to your account, go to purchases, and then go to the refund fund option.
Account details. View purchase history. Left 4 Dead. Go to purchase. I always hated that fucking word.
Neat.
Meant. When you say meant, it's
Oh.
meat and not meant, M-E-N-T, which is why dyslexia hates me. I
Fair.
also had it sent to my wallet instead of my card, so that should also speed things up. It's just like you can do it. So anyway, back to the question of what's going on. Oh, Angry Moose, I am so sorry. Just some casual learning of the most hardest and conventional programming language. Yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Sorry for it took me a second there. I made a mistake and purchased the wrong game, and so I had to fix that. Yeah, well, right now I'm basically trying to figure something out about headers. So basically, ChatGPT says it's not recommended to put your definitions in the header file, but in all honesty, having it just sitting out in the code somewhere during in a project is actually, it seems to me like it's bad. I'd rather have a reference doc than the header, to reference the definitions, and then run the code. I think that would be a lot simpler. And so I'm just checking on that. Let's see. Okay, so by separate declarations, void is a basic example of how you might organize your project. Okay, cool. Um, so here's my namespace, AB, CPP file, and then CPP. Wait, can it reference any definition within the project file? The header source structure is something that a lot of people don't like because it introduces a lot of jumping around in code base. Yeah, like I can understand how that would be a problem because you'd be so here's my thought process on it, just from learning right here. If I have it in the code and it has to jump around all over the place, I can add it into the header file, and it will read that definition no matter where it's at, which is good. But that also means the program has to run around and check every line for that one. And while that's not bad on a small scale, on a large scale, that would be just destroying your memory. So that's a bad idea. If you have it reference the documentation and have to search the other file and then grab the information from that file to use to the header, then put it in, that's 3 jumps, but it's faster. Isn't a problem to deal with when you properly name your H and CPP files. Okay, so like organization, yeah, yeah. So like that's my thought on it. Is I'm just like thinking, oh well, maybe it would be better to you know, maybe it'd be better to have that stored because I'd rather have it organized and quickly approachable than have it to where it's all over the damn place and I'll have to fix it later anyway. You call a function somewhere and you want to jump the definition of so basically I want the project I'm working on, the header file, and the definitions in a separate file. I want a file specifically for definitions. And it seems like the header could be that, but it can also cause issues. I'm not entirely sure what issues, but it says that it can cause issues. So it's not recommended to do that. But I would like to have that. I would like to have the header. I'd like to have a library, I guess, for the definitions that it can quickly reference. Because instead of going through thousands of lines of code to find out where the definition is in order to actually get it and then pull up the process, it'd be faster to just reference the documentation, grab it, and be done. Yeah. So like for this, so do something in this practice point. Hold on a second, I got a message I gotta translate. Where did my translation box go? Where did it go? Ah, wrong page. Guess I'll just pop this over here then. Here we're good. Right click, go to definition. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So I know that you can get the definition here in the line. Like I know that you can get the definition, and like, I'm bad with the jargon because I just started. But so this is the actual definition, right? And well, I mean, I don't know if this is the definition or if you'd call this the line, but anyway, this is the execution, and then here's the actual definition for it. We have the header over here to add to add it into. The header knows, but what I'm saying is like, is there a way to have it to where this page, like, so say this is my main project, and then I have a header file, right? I would want a third file specifically for these lines, just for these, to where the header file can go over there to that other file to grab the actual executions, right? And then plop it down in here where it would just be this definition, right? L16 is the definition. Okay, so this is the definition. Okay, and this is the prototype. If I'm recalling that correctly, this is called a prototype, right? Yeah. So like I'm just saying for making sure that that's a call. Okay. So yeah. So this is a call. Oh, that's right. The void is the prototype. Void with the information is a prototype. So yeah. So this is the call function. This is the definition. So yeah, I would want a third file for the definition specifically for only definitions. I would want the middle file as the header for um for just the call functions, like to add the call functions in, right? And then I'd want to use those in the main project to simplify the process. That way, instead of having like 20 different lines, like, 20 different lines of code that are just the definitions, right? I don't have to have the definitions specifically in my working project. Yeah. So they would, if I'm understanding this correctly, they would all have to be in the same folder for the project, but it can work. Because I would want clean code. I'm just saying, you can archive that by creating a utils.cpp. Okay, cool. So yeah. So I would make the header file a reference and include the utils h in there. Okay, so I'd have to make a utils.h or a utils.cpp, add the definition in, and then find the void, do something inside the utils.h. Yeah, okay. Let me do that real quick. Uh, and wait, is this? Oh, that's in source. Pretty sure. Let's go ahead and add new item. We'll do CPP file. Oh shoot, I didn't name it. Called source. Okay, this needs source file. Go ahead and rename this to utils.cpp. Done. Okay, now that utils CPP is there, we would do it's IO stream, right? Food IO stream. It's IOStream. IOStream? Yeah, IOStream. Include IOStream. And then include quotation marks, details, .h. Boom. Okay, so that's reference here now. Finder would do something in there. So now I would just take the do something in here. And then I would do, oh, I have to do the int thing, int main, right? Is it main? Oh, I forgot the I forgot the the parentheses. That's cool. And I would add in the or we do something, which would be right here. Boom. Take off that bracket because I don't need it. That should be it. No, not that. Okay. If you want, I could join your Discord because text limits the bandwidth of information I can transmit. That's fucking hilarious. Okay, hold on.
Feel free to invite him if you want.
I mean, if you want to, you'd have to put the invite code in my chat. I would have to do it, maybe. I don't know if it blocks links still. I've made a lot of changes to Nightbot recently. There we go. Crimson linked it. Oh, I have to ask her if she uses any mods. Oh, Tao's probably asleep right now. I think about it. Let's see. It's oh yeah, no, it's late as fuck right now over there in Japan. Yep, nope, she's asleep. Oh well, I'll ask her later. Hello.
Hello.
Boo.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay. So you're trying to create a project, right? Like
Yeah,
a small little learning project.
yeah. So like I'm
Uh,
going through each one of these tutorial videos to learn different bits and pieces of code, and then I have a couple other things that I'm doing as well. So the
Yeah.
way that I'm doing it right now is there's a game called Coding Game that I just got access to for C++. So what I'm going to do is I don't know enough yet to use what was that? Was it Code Academy? The website with the little mini games in it, right? Crimson,
Yeah,
the
could
one
be.
with like the I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's way too complicated for me right now because I'm still learning. So I put a pin in that one. But basically, I'm doing this with the tutorial, and then I'm going to go from that to brilliant.org, which is what I have here on the other tab. Let me pop it out. So I have Brilliant here, and I'll do a practice thing over here for variables, right? And then once that's done, I'll do the coding game or the code combat, and then I'll go back. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to do that one lesson, one increment, and I'm just going to do that back to back to back. That way I can, make sure I get the idea of what the code's going to be. I'm going to get the conception of, how language works in my head. And then I'm also going to get a little bit of practice of using code, like custom code, basically for variables and stuff. And then I'm going to go
Yeah.
back. and that way I get a full view because I'm really like focused on making sure I do this correctly. Like, I want to make sure that I learn properly.
Yeah, and it does sound good. Using multiple sources of information.
Yeah, and when I get better,
It
I can
is
actually do
good
like
way.
the whole coding for game or whatever the heck it's called, that website. What is that website called? This is a code something. Hold on, I'll pull it up because I don't. Here it is, coding game. Yeah, so coding game. Coding game is what I want to do, but I can't because it's way over my head right now. Like Clash of Code makes me makes me actually look like an actual idiot. Because it's like, oh, do this, and this with the code. And I'm like, I don't have any conception of what this actually is right now.
Yeah, it's still too early. Yeah.
Yeah, way too early. Yeah, which is why I decided I would take it on the back burner and go through a couple other sources for now. I translate. Oh, Tao's not asleep yet. Mods for the game, like from is it Nexus Mod Manager? Nexusmods.com. Okay. Here we go. Put that out. I'm sorry. I was not expecting to have a conversation with this while doing this.
It's alright.
I thought she was going to be asleep. 'Cause we've been playing a lot of Lethal Company recently, and she speaks Japanese, and I've been learning Japanese, so it's been a really fun experience.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm literally learning this and Japanese concurrently.
Damn.
Crimson's probably over there like, I'm wondering when his brain's going to explode.
Japanese is probably easier than C++.
Oh, yeah, probably. But the difference is like coding. Coding is something that I just started doing. Originally, when I poked my head in the window, it was about Python because I was trying to create basically a ledger bot for a Discord.
Yeah.
And I didn't get very far. I got, oh, that's how I do this. Okay, let me do this. Oh, it needs a Java reference file, and that's where it ended. That's literally where it ended because I had nowhere to host the Java file at the time, and I was broke, so I couldn't, actually do anything with that. So yeah. But C++, everyone's like, oh yeah, it's hard. I'm like, I understand it's hard, but it's also something that I need for Unreal Engine, for and if it's hard, it's fine.
Yeah, it is
Hey Moose,
just a
yeah,
lot.
it's easier
And
until you touch kanji. Yes, Angry Moose, it is definitely easier until you hit kanji, because then you start seeing similar symbols in the kanji that make absolutely no fucking sense being there. They have no right being there. Like, for example, there's Nihon. The kanji for Nihon has an open box on the bottom. It's in Kyoto in the bottom left, and it has no right being there. All right, so back to the coding thing. Let me make sure my stream is up so I can see my chat. I can't see my chat with this open. Okay, so I did something wrong.
kind of. I mean, you're on the right track.
Okay.
Right? You want to, like, for example, line 4. Right? That's a declaration.
Okay. So I don't need that.
Yeah, you don't need that in your CPP file. You need that in your header file, which you do. Like, you have
Okay.
that. You can
So
just delete line 4.
So that's already defined for me through the header
Yeah,
file.
that's the declaration, which is in utils.h.
Okay, yeah, because here's the void do something, and then here's the actual what it does right here, and this is the return
the
to
function
the
body.
function. Yeah.
exactly. And
Okay.
you have your main function inside the utils.cpp. You don't need that, and you don't want that, right? Like,
I don't need main. I
in
just
your whole project, right? You're using Visual Studio, yeah. You have your solution,
so do I just need it like this without a
exactly.
return function or anything? Okay.
And then the closing, where is it? Oh, okay, line
Yeah,
7.
yeah. Here it is. Yeah, those two. As long as it's
Correct.
in the closed brackets, it's fine. It's working.
Yeah, that's completely fine. And then you can go back to your main CPP or your main function, wherever that is. It's inside prototype.cpp. I can't see it because of Twitch overlay stuff.
1 second.
Your leftmost file in the tab.
Sorry, I'm translating. Fat finger so much. There we go. I'm just questioning her about mods that she uses, if she uses any, because I'll need to get those together as well in the game before you play. I'd rather not get those while I start streaming for the game. It'll just cut into her stream time since she only streams for a few hours a day. Okay, anyway, you were saying that I have this set, but I'm missing something now? Or
You're not missing something like directly. You have everything you need right now because your goal initially was to separate the do something function into somewhere else, pretty much, like into some other
yes.
file in your project. And you did that, right? So you can go back to your main function or your prototypes.cpp, I think, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can delete that,
And now it
like
should run.
what you have marked. Yeah, exactly. And now it will run.
Aha! That makes so much more sense to have this kind of setup when programming, because
Exactly.
early on it's not going to be a problem, but when it starts getting really dense, it's going to be hell if you had it all defined in there.
Yeah. And that's kind of the problem with C++. This header CPP structure. It's very important to modularize your code, right? Like,
Yeah,
don't put
like
everything into one source file. That's messy. It gets messy quick. And this header CPP structure is very complicated. And so many people don't really understand it. But now you have the separation at the very basic level. When you go to the definition now, like right click, do something, and then go to definition, it will jump to the utils.cpp file.
because it's referenced in the header file.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it'll look at the header file. The header file will say, "Hey, there's do something," and the utils.cpp would say, "Oh, look, the utils is also needed here, and here's the do something I'm looking for," and then go back.
Yeah, exactly. It will jump to exactly there. If you try it out, I think it will jump to utils.cpp line 5 automatically, right? Like, the language server itself will realize that. It's very good.
That's actually really awesome, because my next question was, I wonder how it actually finds and cross references them, because I could see how this could be bad if you mess up. Oh, there goes Crimson. He'll probably be back in a few. He's at work, so he may have had to step away.
Oh.
But yeah, that was what I was about to ask, is because it can get really messy if you don't. If you put it somewhere else, or you like have like a really bad structuring in a few files, I could definitely see where it would cause issues. Did he move us into a different chat? Is that what happened? No,
Could have
they
been.
just
Huh?
left. Yeah, it's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
It's fine. He's doing Unreal Engine stuff right now anyway, so he's in his own little yeah. Me, him, and a couple other people are making a game. And I'm the ideas guy, but I also want to learn programming and Blender. Basically, I want to get the gist of how to make a game piece by piece, so that way I can do stuff, I can be helpful, and I can also create my own projects because I've always wanted to do that, but I haven't had a goal, right? I haven't had a focal point to funnel it to. And there's two things I've needed
Yeah.
while doing that. I need friends that I can talk to and bounce ideas off of because a vacuum chamber's hell. And two, I needed a goal to go towards, and I have both of those now.
Yeah, like a motivation.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily
Right.
motivation, but like, well, yeah. Well, so a goal for motivation, and then people to bounce ideas off of, so that way you can do stuff. And there was a guy that came in the other day, and fucking hell, I love him. He came in and he was like, "Hey man, guess what? I've been using ChatGPT." I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean ChatGPT?" He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I learned coding in college, but I've learned a lot more just fucking with ChatGPT." And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Go get it, ask it a question. You'll be surprised." And I've been sitting here just asking questions, and it's actually very, very solid so far. So if there's something I don't
It is good.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, if there's something I don't know or there's a gap or something, I can just, it's really good.
It depends on what the problem is. Like you cannot just ask ChatGPT like code me
Oh
a
yeah,
game.
yeah, like
Like
complicated stuff.
you
Yeah.
need to ask very specific things.
Well, I'm used to
I
asking
think.
very specific things because I've been
Yeah.
doing customer support and tech support and stuff over the years. So I have a lot of experience with being very concise and going how do I say this? Process of elimination and being very focused on what you want to do. Because during customer service or during tech support jobs, you have to ask the customer, like, hey, their internet's off. Okay, so you ask them, hey, your internet's off. That's bad. Okay, so is it working currently? Oh yeah, it's on. Okay, cool. Is the router on? Oh yeah, the router's on. Okay, cool. And then you just go from there. You stem down and you go further and further. So I think I already have a solid thought process of how I might actually do coding, like besides mathematics, obviously.
You do.
But
Yeah.
I think it would help. Yeah, to have that mentality helps a lot.
Yeah, like problem solving.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't remember the general term. There's parts of my brain that don't work now because of the programming I've been shoving into it.
Yeah, especially at the beginning. It's just a lot of information.
Yeah, it is. That's why
And
I'm
you
only
cannot
doing
really
about
structure it inside your brain.
yeah, I'm doing like 2 to 3 hours every day, I think, programming, and then everything else is just kind of small stuff. Let's see how much of the video I got
Yeah.
left. Half. I wonder if he's going to cover that here in a second. That's going to be really saddening if he did.
Probably.
This is actually a really old thing. This is a
It
very
is.
old
I can see that.
yeah, no, it's very
Eclipse.
old. Yeah, well, he's using Eclipse and he's also using it on a Mac. So I mean there's some differences. Like for example, he likes to use the namespace, and every time I looked up anything with coding, they're like, don't use namespace because
Yeah,
a lot of
using
people get
namespace
used to it.
STD
Yeah,
is not
bad.
recommended. Like,
Not recommended because you don't get used to typing the code for the std command that you need to start the process.
oh, it's actually not because of that.
It's
It's
not
because
because of
of
that. Okay.
poisoning, right? Like, if you're using namespace STD in your main, for example, and
Yeah.
inside of another file, you're creating a function or something else that is also called cout, then the CPP compiler wouldn't know what to use. Do
Oh
I use
no.
the standard cout or do I use my own cout? Namespace
Oh.
poisoning.
Yeah, it would break it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that would be
using
complicated.
like the using namespace thing is you should only use it contaminated in a contained way, right? Like
So,
not in your main file,
yeah.
and only in CPP files, because in CPP files they don't carry over to other files, right? Like for example, if you do using namespace std inside your utils.cpp file, and then you include utils.h into your prototype.cpp, this using namespace std line, it doesn't get carried over. but it stays isolated inside of your CPP file.
Oh, so when you copy
Right,
it
so
over, it doesn't have the right. Yeah, so the lines are wrong.
yeah,
As soon as you
so
copy them
never
over, they're
use it
wrong.
inside of your headers and never use it inside of your main CPP file.
Once I read that post about it, and like, because the guy commented, he's like, "And congratulations, you are the 10,000th person to be screwed over by teaching tutorials that just didn't tell you that that you shouldn't be doing
Yeah,
that." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I want to avoid that pitfall. Let's just step beside the fan that where the shit's hitting and move on." So I
it's
was
kind
like,
of
"I'll just type it manually." I'm just used to
yeah,
typing it like manually. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I can copy paste all I want. All I have to do is type in a few lines of code and then copy paste them where I see fit and then continue on. And I'm
yeah,
fairly sure there's
exactly.
probably people out there that have commands where they can just shortcut their keyboard to print out something like this, like a specific line for, a statement, because things like this probably happen quite a bit. So,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
mostly in editor, right? And you can create templates
yeah.
inside of Visual Studio or whatever you're using. It doesn't really matter, but you can create templates like snippets.
I've heard that those are
VS Code is
really
very popular. Yeah,
I've heard that those are really good, but they're also really bad because everyone's code is different. Because there's always multiple ways to fix a problem. So their code could look nothing like your code, or their code could be better than your code. But the problem is that everyone it gets weird if you look at someone else's code because you need to figure out how they're writing it.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean,
So
just boilerplate stuff. That's always kind of the same for you or you inside your project. Right? For example, a class, an entity class inside your game. Right? It probably has position. Like your entity probably has a position. It's in the map, and it
yeah,
probably has
default
a model
spawning. So an
that you need to
XYZ.
reference to, right? So that's
Hmm.
always the same. So you can kind of create template or a snippet to create an entity class, so you don't need to type as much, right? So yeah, programmers are very lazy, so they
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that
Well,
kind of stuff.
that's what I saw in a couple of videos. It was saying, because while I wasn't studying, I was watching videos that were talking about coding. Because I wanted to get a generalized idea, because it's better to learn stuff like that. You don't want to focal on too many small things to make your base. You want to get a broad perspective when you're
Yeah,
building an understanding of something. And that's one of the reasons why Japanese is better for me, is because I've spent years watching anime. So it's not that I don't know the words; it's that I don't have a context
oh
for
yeah,
them yet. Once I learn the context, it's a lot easier to remember them. But I don't have
yeah,
that for coding. So I want to be able to watch a lot of videos, and I've noticed a lot of common things. People prefer their certain codes. People say that C++ and C is hard, that Java is really easy, but at the same time, whatever you want to learn is what you want to learn. You just need to be aware that you're going into something that's more complex. But that's fine. I mean, the going into something that's complex for me is fun. It's frustrating. What's frustrating for me isn't when something's complex, it's when it's complex but I don't have a way to grasp its complexity, because it's frustrating, right? It's
yeah,
like getting a puzzle that you got from, like, you're a kid and you got a puzzle from your older uncle, right, or something, and it's a puzzle that you have no idea how to even begin to start on it. And that's where it gets frustrating, because you don't know how to start. Once you can start
exactly.
forming around it, then it gets easier. That's where my frustration comes from. So other than that, I love learning. It's that initial start process is what locks me up.
Speaking C++ is very ballsy, honestly. I props to you, man.
Well, I
But
mean,
it is a great
I need
language.
it. I need it for Unreal Engine 5, and I figure, if it's hard, it doesn't matter, because everything else will be easy, right? If you do the hardest thing first, everything else is going to be easy.
Yeah. I mean, what you're doing right now isn't really C++ specific. It's still just programming, and
Yeah,
programming languages, surprise, they are really just normal languages. But
yeah, yeah. Like,
they have a lot of in common. Right?
after
Like
looking at
languages
like
itself, let's say C++ and Python, they have things in common, right? Like variables, functions, loops,
integers, yeah,
classes,
strings.
right? Like Stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's programming language agnostic. So when you learn that, you kind of broaden your sense of programming as a whole. And then the C++ specific things, they make C++ hard, right? Like memory management, pointers, all that stuff. That is very. That's why people say that it's hard.
My cat just borked me.
Just Control Z should fix
I'm
it. Right?
smashing Control Z right now. Oh,
Oh
damn
shit!
it went too far. Let's redo. Control Shift Z. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
The cat.
Thank you, cat. You're awesome. I love you. You're adorable, but fuck. Okay, there we go. Done.
Okay.
I don't want to type it all out again. Okay, no, I'm just gonna save this. Yeah, let's just save that so that doesn't happen again. Save this. She jumped up and hit my mouse. I don't know how she did it. Eco-wee. Come on, baby. Come on. There you go. She wants to get to her spot on my other leg. Come on, baby. Come on. Over here. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. Yeah, there's your spot. Lay down and be happy, sweetheart. Lay down and be happy. I have two cats that like to lay on me all the time, so
That's sweet.
yeah. She's always on the left leg of the chair getting her pets and chest rubs. And then the older grandmama kitty behind me, her name is Caroline, and she's a sweetheart. She usually has a bad habit of clawing my arm when she's trying to jump up though. I don't mind. I love cats. So let's see. So now that I got this question answered, let's see what the rest of this tutorial video shows so I can move over to the conceptions. It's brilliant. Oh, I do have a question. Why
Yeah.
is include IOStream in a in greater and less than sign, while the utils H is in quotations? Like they still both function, but
It's been a while since I used Visual Studio.
yeah. So is IOStream just
the
like
right-hand
a
side,
file that's built in?
You have your Solution Explorer.
Hmm?
Right, and you can right-click on Prototypes on the top.
Yeah.
You can right-click on that. Properties. The most bottom option, yeah. And then where is it? C, C++?
Maybe general.
Is it under there? External includes? Maybe? Is it in there? No. Is it under linker?
She's
It's been
getting her.
years since
It's
I've
probably
used
been
Visual
linker.
Studio.
Well, Visual Studio for me is really nice to use, especially when learning, because it points out mistakes.
Yeah, definitely.
But like trying to get a fresh like Notepad style, like Sublime, for example, looks like hell to me right now because there's no
Yeah, it is.
yeah. But I have it installed. I have Sublime installed right here, or maybe not.
Yeah,
Oh,
most
there it
people
goes.
use VS Code nowadays instead of Sublime.
Yeah, it was just it's one of the ones I picked up while I was going around. I should probably uninstall that until I know what I'm going to do specifically because I have code blocks installed. I have a few of them installed. I wasn't sure which one to run. Yeah, I have code blocks. But so
Yeah, but
system maybe.
what I want to say is that it's a system-wide library, right? Like IOStream is part of the
Built in.
standard C++ library.
Okay.
right? And you can install other libraries like DirectX, which you probably know, right?
So
To
this
render
one
games.
is this one's for Steam or that system. So this means it's in a system, while the quotation marks means it's user defined. Is that right?
Yeah, like it's somewhere on your system. There's a directory where all the libraries are being stored. For example, if you install DirectX,
Yeah, yeah.
you like it's going to install inside of that directory. So the compiler instantly knows, okay, if you write include and then in the greater sign, lesser sign symbols, if you write DirectX 9 or dx_d9.h, then it instantly knows where it is. And the quotation marks means locally inside of your project.
Okay. So
And
system and project.
utils.h is just inside of your project. You could copy it, like copy the files into the system-wide directory, and then you could use the angle brackets, but it doesn't really make sense, right? Because it's just for this specific project.
Yeah, you could do a lot of damage later, especially if you use the same name and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Right, and the system-wide libraries, they can be used inside of any project, and they are useful inside of any project.
Okay, so that's kind of what I thought. What I have noticed, or what I think I've noticed, just generally, is that different coding is used for different things depending on what it can do. But C++ and C is just a generalized. It can do a lot of different stuff, which is why it's so popular. But it's not focal to one point, which is why certain other ones run for specific stuff. But it seems like, at least looking in general, because like we were saying earlier, strings, integers, all that kind of good stuff, it looks like
Yeah.
it's primarily you could think of it like a language with different accents, and every accent has different symbol meanings and stuff like that that you have to learn, but the core of it is all similar in some way, is what it seems like.
Just C++? What exactly do you mean? Like programming languages in general, or?
Yeah, in general, because I've poked around on Java. I think I've poked around on Java, Python, and C++, but I've not learned them. I've just looked at them occasionally.
Yeah,
Except for
exactly.
C++
Like
I'm learning.
that's
So
exactly how it is. Like how you described it with accents, for example. And I'm not familiar with like the history of languages, but there's like Roman languages or
Latin-based
Romance.
languages. Yeah,
Yeah,
Latin-based
Latin-based,
languages. Yeah,
Romance-based, I think. Like
yeah, and then
that's pretty true. Also
yeah,
for programming languages, and then the accents, I would say, in C++, it's not just C++. And for example, you go and work for a company, they could be writing C++ in their way, and then you go to a different company and they write C++ completely different because it's so open.
yeah.
Right? And the C++ is huge. Like C is very small, like 30, 35 keywords, I think. But C++ is huge.
So is
there's like
CSS considered C?
differences. C++ is considered a superset of C. Like if you write C code, you could just shoot it through a C++ debugger and it would work, most likely. But you don't mix and match it. Like the way you write C++ is very different from the way you write C. But they are not
It's
in and of itself. It's not very different. You just do
what
it
I'm saying is
differently.
like the core. The core for it is it's like an expansion almost. Is what
Yeah,
it
it's a
seems
superset,
like.
kind
Yeah.
of.
So
Right? Like
what
it's
is
C with a lot
what's
of more features.
CSS? What is CSS then? Is it
CSS is just for web design, cascading style sheet.
so it's not considered a branch of C, it's just its own thing.
No. It's a terrible naming scheme. You will
Yeah,
really see that a lot
that's why I was
in
asking,
programming.
because I was like, I don't know if that's part of C or if it's its own thing.
CSS is just inside of the browser to style the web page.
Like HTML,
cascading style sheet.
like just like HTML is. I feel like HTML would be more
HTML is
broad.
the content,
Oh, okay,
right?
okay.
Like HTML, you dump all the information in there, and then you use CSS to style to make it look good, and then you use
Oh,
JavaScript to
okay.
add functionality.
Okay. Uh so HTML is the base of everything. CSS would be like for visual stuff, and then Java is for
Exactly.
interacting with
Yeah.
stuff on the page.
JavaScript. Java is
JavaScript, sorry.
another
Yeah,
world entirely.
JavaScript. Yeah.
Yeah.
JavaScript and Java are different. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm still learning them. I haven't really looked at them in depth or anything, which is why I'm like generalizing a lot. But it
Yeah.
helps to learn.
That's
You
fine.
start with generalizing.
Right. It's really good to generalize, because nowadays I see a lot of people just hyper focus on one thing. Like, I want to create websites, and then they just instantly jump into React, like React JavaScript, and only learn that, and then they have no clue about programming. They just know how to make a website look good, and then they're kind of stuck, right? So they hyper focus on one single thing, and they don't zoom out and ask broader questions like you do.
He's talking about how the how it's a system file and one is not a system. It's a local. He called it a
Okay.
local file. Yeah, so like the question I just asked, he's talking about. That's great. I like that though. This is an old tutorial, but it's still really good for information. Like, and I only had to pay like $10 for it, $10 to $15 for it, and it's like 3 courses from basic to advanced. So like, I'm really
Yeah.
happy. That's why I like the site that I got this off of, which is Stack Social, I think, or Stack Skills. Um, there's another one called Udemy, I think is what it's called. It's a very
Yeah,
similar site where
Udemy. Yeah.
you buy like people's projects and stuff that they've worked on for tutorials and stuff like that. Yeah. So this one's older. This one's like the original one. And like for example, we could do Unreal Engine 4. There's one for like $60 where you can like he'll go over everything that he knows for Unreal Engine 4. And I mean it's not 5, but I mean 4 is still a base, you know, of 5. 5 just has more features. So, you
Yeah.
know, but but we're using Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, we're using Unreal Engine 5 for everything because it has the best lighting and also has built-in multiplayer functions, and it has a lot of stuff that you can work
Yeah.
with. And I think they said that it's a 5% royalty fee for using the software if you get a certain percentage of sales. So I mean,
Like
it's
a
technically
million,
not
I
that
think.
expensive. Yeah, it's like a million. Yeah. It was a million. You hit a million, you get 5. They get 5%. And then I think Steam gets like 40%, 30 or 40%. So if we
Yeah,
made the game and
30%,
it
I
sold,
think.
yeah, if we made the game and sold it, we could just assume that half of it is going elsewhere. Um, but it's me and Crimson are working on coding and stuff. We have our other friend K, or not K, Z. He's really good at 3D modeling. He's already made 3D models,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's made like 6 models I think so far for the game. And then he has a friend that does skeletal rigging, and he said that he gave her one of the files to rig for like a human rigging, and just so he can tinker around with it, and ask for pointers from her and stuff. Like she might actually join us later if we get a chance to talk to her. I don't know. She's supposedly really busy and stuff because rigging is a really good moneymaker for VTubers and stuff like that. So yeah, we just started this. We went from having a conversation about how I would personally make a game better, like a horror game, and to actually making the game, like making ideas and getting structures down and getting creatures in it and all this other stuff. So we
Yeah.
have a lot of ideas and stuff. It's really cool. I just think it's really awesome that we went from like just hanging out to like this, and I'm happy because I've wanted to do something like this for a while. I would probably be, once I learn coding, I'm probably going to be like really happy just jumping into, I think they're called dive parties, where you just like make something over a certain time period. That would be awesome. I've always loved watching
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Exactly that. And like hackathons, I think. They're
Yeah,
also
hackathons. Yeah,
like just make something in a like 48-hour period.
because there's
It's crazy
a
what they
there,
can come up with.
well, there's a guy that did. I want to say he's code something. Hold on, let me find him. He's in code or code something. He's actually one of the people that made me really want to start learning coding a while ago. I just kept getting hit in the face every time I tried. Coding, learning, funny. I'll probably pull him up. Just give generalized tags. Yeah, Code Bullet. There he is. Yeah, first thing on the menu. Yeah, Code Bullet is a dude over in the UK, and he just does AI learning and he adjusts it and he lets it go ape shit. Like he figures out a goal that he wants to do and he just has fun with it and lets it break. And as he like this is basically his learning projects. He's just recording himself with his learning projects and how he learned and stuff. And it's really, really entertaining. It's really good to learn and see like how he's just, generally fixed stuff. Because he doesn't actually show you
Yeah.
fully, but he tells you about it. So it's really nice. And it's just I just love his page. But he's really cool.
It is interesting. It's just funny stuff, right? What you
Yeah,
still
yeah.
learn.
Yeah, like one of his one of his popular videos is he makes a stick figure walk, and then he tells the AI engine to keep running and running and running for weeks, and then he comes back and you realize it's not running like a human at all. It's running differently because of certain requirements that he didn't set in the code.
Yeah.
So it's just really funny because like he's like, why is it just twitch walking? Like it's spazzing and walking. What the fuck? And he's like, oh well, I need to set a definition for this. I need to make it to where if its arms touch the ground, it's bad. So it learns how to walk without touching the ground and things like that. And it's just really funny. He just
Yeah.
laughs at himself and goes through it and learns and keeps going. And it's why it's so fun because he's literally struggling as he's going through this, but he's able to laugh at it and learn, and that's really wonderful. But yeah, there's a few people like him now, but Code Bullet's been around for a while. He's a really cool guy. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll get to work with him. That'd be great. Like actually something to talk to him about. That'd be cool. But yeah,
There's
I'm
also
probably. Go ahead. Sorry.
where's the playlist? There's a playlist, right? Yeah. The one guy who taught me how to write C++, and in general, is just amazing systems developer. He did develop engines for EA. He's just amazing. Wait, can I just DM you?
Yeah,
I
you can
think
DM me.
so.
You should be able to DM me. You're in the server,
channel.
so
Yeah, the
yeah, or
channel
the
is
channel. Yeah.
amazing. Like his C++ videos. Oh, they're so good.
I am going to open it and then I'll add it to my coding tab. Let me see. Oh. That's the hard thing about it. There's one guy that did a tutorial video. Let me grab him real quick and I'll show you. But let me close this and I'll go to my other tab. Where is my main tab? Here's my main tab. My main tab's insane, which is why it's always hidden. Let's see. Wait, you're not saved? You're not a saved group? You need to be a saved group. Saved group. All of you, saved group. You need to be saved. I don't want to ever have any issues with Google Chrome and not be able to and lose all my damn anime tabs. I have a lot of manga I'm concurrently reading. I don't want to lose this huge ass tab of anime again. It sucks. It sucks to have to find this shit again. Hell, there's one manga that's in the wind right now that I don't even know where the fuck it is. I can't find it. I went on Reddit and everything and asked for people to help find it, and they helped me find three, but they helped me find no 2 out of 3. Let's see. Unfreeze. Because I have all these tabs open. Oh, yeah. There we go. Because I have all these tabs open, it's good to have a sweeper program that comes through and turns these tabs off and freezes them like this. See,
Yeah.
they're frozen so that way they don't cause extra background lag. Chrome still lags the shit out of my computer. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, at least this way, it's not bad. But this is pretty much my current dump of I go through when I feel like it stuff. Not my active tabs. Where is it? Where's the guy? The guy was talking about Sublime. That's creating Tetris in C++. Here he is. This guy. But he goes through like everything really fast. You can tell that he's coded a lot. He's done a lot of different stuff, and it's really weird watching
Oh,
him.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, because he literally just starts throwing stuff at you really fast and doesn't really give you a lot of time, which is why I haven't like continued watching his stuff yet, because I want to get a better concept of C++ before I do. Because I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I'll learn stuff from it, but because he's learning it while I would be learning it, it would be really weird because there's stuff that he would know that I don't, because he's done stuff before. So, but he's the one that uses Sublime and goes through it, but it's kind of an old video. But I mean, still, it's still something. But then
I'd
there's
really would
also
just
this guy.
recommend the journal. Right? Like the journal is pretty much the same. Like,
Yeah.
just a playlist going over C++ and in general programming stuff. And the C++ stuff, it starts at, I think, video 15 or 16, where he talks about pointers. But then it gets really into the specifics of C++. Before that, it's just in general programming, right? Like variables, function, loops, classes, I think, are also in there.
Have
And
you seen Odin Project?
kind of, it's a front end based
No,
course.
the Odin Project is hilarious because there's the introduction to the actual project is like an hour's worth of scrolling and reading through pages of don't give up, it's hard, don't give up, it'll make you stressed, but it's okay, push through it. It's literally that for like an obscene amount of time, and I'm just, by the end of it I was like, I don't even want to continue. You've literally killed my mental want to do this because you just wouldn't shut the fuck up about the same thing. Like, say it's
Yeah.
hard, tell me it's hard, tell me what I need to start, and then begin. But that's basically like this tab is basically me starting off with command line with Linux. I have a VM box on my computer, so that way I can pop this
Yeah.
out when I need to. Oracle. So yeah, I have Oracle. I have Oracle. I don't know why it's not showing the actual program icons, but I have Oracle. And I
You don't really
use that
need
for
a
stuff.
virtual machine.
Well, I mean, I don't need a
There's a
virtual
thing.
machine for Linux, yes, but I don't. The reason being is because I can dual boot, but I don't want to dual boot, and I
No.
also
You can use WSL,
that
Windows
is
Subsystem for Linux.
what?
Like, imagine you're opening a terminal, right?
Hmm.
You like command line on Windows, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's
Then it's just a
command prompt.
Windows command line, right? But with WSL, you can open an Ubuntu or like Linux command line inside of your Windows command line. So it's much faster. WSL is amazing. I've used it too when I was on Windows. I'm on actual Linux now.
Well, yeah, so I would love to use Linux, but well, A, I game a lot, and B, well,
I game a lot
I
as
I
well.
I killed it. I killed my Linux. I killed my Linux so bad.
That happens.
Yeah, well, no, it was just the base installation. So when I would boot up, I would so I installed Linux. I installed Linux, and then after installing Linux, I went to after installing Linux, I went to I got like Discord and everything else, like my normal social stuff, my usual like
Exactly. Yeah.
programs and stuff. I got those. The things that it didn't have, I got like the stand-ins, things like that. And I installed all of it. And there's two ways to install it. Obviously, there's like the tar files, or three ways. There's the tar files. There's installing through the actual like app collection folder that they have built into Linux, because I would use I think it's IME. It's either IME or something. I can't remember. Hold on. Oh, let me grab it. Oops. Over. Sorry. It's the Ubuntu shell, but it's not Ubuntu. It's here, hold on. Have yeah. Run your stuff. Because I have like two different versions of Ubuntu that I've tried. It's like it's either IME or Mint. I can't remember which one it's called. And then this one is Ubuntu, which is what was recommended
Yeah,
through like
XFCE.
Odin. Yeah, because it's faster and it's not so bogged down by stuff.
Yeah.
So this one is just to turn stuff out, because I don't want to break the operating system while I'm using it on a computer, because I did that, and in a week's period I reinstalled Ubuntu 4 times. It was not fun. I kept breaking the operating system because I kept adding in dependencies for a library that wasn't updating. So when I tried to do the update install all, it borked it, because there were dependencies that didn't actually, what's my password for this again? Oh, I think that's the password. Nope. One second. I know the password. It's literally embedded in the settings here. Second. Could have fat fingered a key. Seriously? There it is. Sorry, I have like
Hey.
6 different passwords that I've used in Linux, so I couldn't remember which one it was. And I was trying to figure out if it was capped or not, because sometimes I cap it.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I've got like Chrome on here and Visual Studio and everything, and like terminal is sudo command. Well, oop. I am Flash, yay. Sudo let's install. Did I fat finger it? Ah, I'll run it again. Aha, screw you. There we go. Oh wait, is it update? Probably just update. There we go. Boop, boop. Reading dependencies. Here we go.
And then you can run sudo apt upgrade, alright?
Sudo. Oh yeah, sudo. I was trying to remember what the word was. Is upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade, huh?
I love how this is just basic shit, but to someone that doesn't know anything, it's like I'm like hacking in or something. Oh my god, there's so many lines. It's gotta be malicious. It's like, no, there's a loading bar. Fuck, he's breaking into the terminal. Somebody help! It's just. But yeah, I basically did this, and I was using a dependency, and I was trying to install OBS. And OBS had some dependency libraries that were just really, really old. And they were not updated. So it installed everything on top of it, but it didn't actually run.
Yeah.
So what it did was it built on top of the dependencies that were broken, and then made sure that I pretty much was fucked. Because at that point, the only way to fix it, which I had a friend that had been in Linux for years, he had to help me go in and just go through the dependencies one by one and delete and go down the list of the tree and delete the other dependencies. And it was just fucking awful. It was just straight awful. It took like an hour, and a few days later, I installed something else, and it did it again. And I was just like, son of a bitch. And
It's
it got
weird.
to a point where I couldn't upgrade, right? Because the dependencies broke it.
Yeah.
And after a while, it was just impossible to do anything because I couldn't upgrade. So there were some programs that just wouldn't run anymore. That needed, like, for example, Discord needs to always be connected and upgraded in order to run, or else it breaks.
Yeah.
OBS is similar like that. I don't use OBS anymore, but I mean the core of most streaming platforms are like OBS. So right now I use Twitch Studio. I don't know if they have a TarGZ for that or not. And there's also the issue with Easy Anti-Cheat. I can't run Easy Anti-Cheat games because they
You
use
can.
the Proton. Wait, they do? You can
You
now?
can. It depends on the game. Like there's a flag. If you're a game developer, there's a flag you can just enable EAC under Linux. Or, like Linux has an easy anti-cheat runtime. And for example, BattleBit is easy anti-cheat protected, right? I can
Yeah.
run it on Linux just fine. Easy anti-cheat is really great on Linux. Like I can easily
But
bypass
aren't
it.
there some games that you
But
can't use because they'll just straight up get you banned?
yeah,
Depends on what you're
they just
playing.
won't let you use it, right? Like
Yeah.
either they will just say, okay, easy anti-cheat on Linux isn't allowed. Like we set the flag to false, or they will straight up sometimes ban you, just like Apex, right? Like Apex
Yeah.
sometimes misfires and just kills all Linux players. I don't know why, but sometimes that happens.
There we go.
But
Done.
yeah,
That's all I've seen.
single player stuff is absolutely fine on Linux. It's crazy how
Oh
far
yeah.
it has gone.
Yeah,
Right?
well,
And
like I
all
have
multiplayer
Proton
games with
because of
normal
Proton.
anti-cheat. Yeah.
But yeah, this is the terminal that I use for Odin specifically. I haven't touched it in a while because I've been, actively trying to learn. But I plan on going back to Odin and going through so I can get more information because I have a lot of stuff. Like I could do lessons right now for Linux if I wanted to, but it's hard. It's hard enough doing fucking this, and it's hard enough doing this in Japanese. I don't have enough mental capacity to handle more at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't even imagine starting like low-level language programming and then also on top of that Japanese.
Well, I've been doing Japanese since October, and I picked up C++ a week ago ish. So But I've been bouncing between the two. Oh, I have 2 tabs open for that. Crazy. Okay, so and you can see how extensive it's gotten because now I'm like putting other tabs on other tabs on other tabs, and
Yeah.
I've had to clean them out because like these are like when I get bored, I watch random shit. So it seems like now I'm in a mood of backroom / horror stuff. But that's probably because the game, the game we're building is a horror game, so it's kind of like fun, but also research, trying to figure stuff
Yeah.
out. I'm insulted that a cowboy dude in the South knew about birria tacos before I did. That hurts. That hurts my soul. The fact that he did, because birria is amazing, and I hate the fact that I've lived in the South my entire life and he knew it before I did. Really good stuff. So let's see. Okay, I need to finish this so I can go to the next, so I can go to the conceptual stuff. Because the conceptual stuff for Brilliant right now is kind of making my head hurt. I also played a game the other day, and oh my god, trying to understand what they were trying to get me to do mathematically my head wouldn't do it. My brain stopped. It literally went.
A dial-up modem.
Yeah, right. Just cat in
Yeah.
the blender, So let me ask you something. Is it common to look at code and try to figure out a problem, and you go, "Hey, brain, how would you do this?" And your brain just goes, like absolutely nothing, like doesn't even answer the door. Because I've had a few
It
moments like that.
depends.
I've had a few moments where I'm like, okay, this, and all of a sudden my head just goes, "I'm out, bye."
Like if I look at C or C++ code, I can pretty much understand what the writer, what the developer of the code wanted to achieve. But if I look at like highly abstract JavaScript code, I'm lost
Yeah.
because
So
it's so much abstraction happening there that I just don't know. Okay, what's actually going on? Like what's actually going on under the hood? I have no idea. Right? But C or C++, you learn the language, you learn the concepts behind it, like data structures and algorithms. You will pretty much get into that soon, I think.
yeah,
And that's gist of programming, right? It's data and manipulation of data. It's nothing more than that, really. And the more sophisticated term for that is data structures and algorithms, like lists and arrays and algorithms like bubble sort, merge sort, or like if in your game you could shoot a gun, that's an algorithm, right?
so you
It's all
you
just
want
data
to see
structures and algorithms.
sorry, listening to what he said. Do you want to see what broke my brain the other day?
Yeah, sure.
You might have an easier time with this. I might not. We'll see. It's fucking loud. Hold on. I can't hear anything. This is too loud. There we go. No more ear piercing. Alright. 13 years. Yeah. Okay, so this is a game that's basically for like if you want to learn to code and stuff, it's basically a good conception. This is another,
Okay.
mental gymnastics thing. It's called Human Resources. And I'll explain a little bit here once he explains everything. Accounting, whatever, blah blah. Okay. So did it keep my it kept my book up. Yeah, clear that please. Alright, so anyway. So you have things over here that need to go over here, and you have to follow the guidelines on the right. And then you have these
Okay.
things right here that are your commands. So you have grab from the inbox, which is taking it from the inbox. You have adding to the outbox, which can be from anywhere as long as it goes to the outbox, as long as you have something in your hand. You have copy from, which is you can copy from something that's in these slots. You say copy to, which is you copy to one of these slots. You have add, subtract. You have jump. Jump is basically a return, right? It's basically just to make sure that you can create a loop. That's all it really is.
Yeah, it's
So then
control
you
flow.
have, yeah. So then you have jump if 0, same thing, but with an if statement, kind of an if
Yeah,
statement.
with the conditional, yeah.
And then if negative is same thing, but for negatives. And
Yeah.
that's all that I have currently in the game. So this is fucking weird. So it says grab 2 things from the inbox, right? So you grab 2 things from the inbox, so that means you're gonna have to use these spaces. Then put only 2 of the bigger of the 2 in the outbox. But you can't say grab 4, grab 6. You have to use mathematics to actually tell it. Like you can't actually force it to grab a specific number. So you have to use mathematics
Okay.
to rig it somehow to where you get the higher number, and they expect a very specific number, which they don't
Yeah.
tell you what it is. So then bigger the 2 of the outbox, and then if they are equal, you just pick either one and repeat. And that's what you're supposed to do in the code here, which is just this is bonkers to me because you're using addition and subtraction, right? Copy to and copy from. You have to find a way to mathematically use addition and subtraction to do a form of multiplication to form it into probability. And I brain says no. I don't even know where to begin on this. Like I know that you have to grab 2 things, so obviously we're going to be using either slot 0, 1, or all 3 of them. And then put them in the outbox. But this is just an example, right? This is where I'm at now in the game, which I'm probably not going to continue for a while because of just how complicated this question is. But you can see how this is kind of meh, right? It's kind of meh.
I mean, it is a bit weird because it sort of looks like assembly, right? Like C++ and C, Rust, they
Yeah.
all compile to assembly language, right? Which is still human readable, but you need to be a very special kind of human.
It's supposed to be.
Read that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be a inspired by assembly, I think is what the game said. It's supposed to be like yeah, it's supposed to be like it's inspired from assembly. On the page is what it says for the game. But I don't even know how to begin to do this. I can actually put the information into ChatGPT and it gives me an equation for solving for AB to X and then to get Y. But I don't know how to change that formula into something in the game. Right? Because I like mathematics is only hard because of the formulas you need to use, right? Like it's all simple mathematics, calculus, trigonometry. They're all simple math that is actually severely condensed, and you have different rules that you have to follow for different problems, and that's where it gets complicated because you need to figure out what rules you need to use to figure out the actual answer, and that's where it messes me up because I don't even know how I would do this. Like how I would convert something mathematic to this. Because I've learned a little bit of Algebra 2 and Calculus, but I'm not really good at math. But I mean, you can get better at math just by doing, like, basically by memorizing the different equations and stuff that you can use for it, and like where to place things. Because at the end of the day, it's simple. It's just complicated in execution because it gets bigger and bigger, right?
It's really simple.
Yeah.
I could actually do that in assembly. I just don't know how it works in this game, right? Because, for example, jump if 0, where does it reference that 0? Like, what's 0? Jump if negative. Like, do I specify?
So that's why it irritates me
variable
because
that's negative,
I would
or-
love to have a what if, or I would like to have a I would like to have very specific if statements, not just jumps, because these make it like, so this makes it infinitely harder because I think, okay, well, if I had 2 things, right, and then so I don't think of it like this game makes you think, right? So you grab 2 things on the inbox and you put only the 2 bigger of the 2. So what I would end up saying would be, if I was writing code, what I would say, move these two variables here, and then whichever one is greater, so you'd use like a greater than equal sign, right? And you would say whichever one is
Yeah.
greater, and then you would say hold that variable, and then you would move it over, and then you would put a line underneath it that says if equal to, then just jump, just move to this part of the code, right? Move to this line, move to this whatever, and then it would be done. That's easy. It's literally like 4 lines of code that would do this entire thing. But if you
Yeah.
try to ask me to think of how I'd go from C++ to this, my brain just doesn't even want to begin to figure out how to do that. Like I have no
I mean,
grip.
it's still the same steps. You still need to take the same steps, right? It's still the same problem, obviously, and you can break a problem into smaller parts, right? Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
So like the first thing I would do is like, how do I grab 2 things from the inbox? Like, where does it even go? Like, I've never
Yeah.
played the game, so
So
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
here I'll show you. So because my issue isn't that I can't do it, it's that I don't know where to begin to continue to do this, because I need to
Yeah.
wrap my head around it, which I can't do currently. So I'll just start with a little bit. So first off, you get an inbox, and you'd say copy to, right, 0, and then you would say inbox again, because it's
Oh, okay.
annoying like that. You can't tell it to go twice. So you go inbox again, then you go copy 2, you go 1, because everything starts with 0, not 1. So you have 0, 1, 2. So what it'll do now is this is going to break, obviously, but I'll show you. So notice when he does that, he throws anything that's an extra in his hand away, because you're copying that number over, right? So he holds the remainder in his hand, and that can fuck you up later, but it could also be helpful. See? So that's how you do it. And then you have it because it's a copy 2. And then if you do add, like say I do add 0. So what this is going to do is it's going to go 0, then 1, just like I did before, but it's going to take 1 and it's going to add it to 0.
Yeah.
So boom, and then it's in my hand. That's it. And like I said, he could discard this if I do like a jump function. And subtract is, the same way. Jump 2, so jump would be if negative, which I don't have negative right now, but we could say, so if I do jump right here, or sorry, jump right here. Wait, no, sorry, I had that right the first time, because you could just jump backwards. You do this. So this is going to say the same thing. There, put it there, add these 2, throw it away, then add this, and then add this, and then add those 2, and I'm just going to keep going until obviously everything's gone. And that gives you a better understanding of how it runs. But the way that like Crimson helped me understand the previous problem was that he had like 4 different jumps that were sorted like this. It was like this. And it was just this crazy,
different
holy crap, like I
sections.
couldn't figure out exactly what the thought process was behind it, right? Like how it worked. And so this is the part where he lost me. And that's where I am now. But you can do this to create a formula mathematically, but it's so weird that I can't like understand it.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as well. Like, you're saying in line 5 right now.
Yeah, so let me
Add 0.
give me a second. Let me go back to one of the previous ones, and I'll show you exactly what this one did. Okay, here's the one. Here's the one that fucked me up. So this is complete. This is what it's supposed to do right here. The objective is to get 2
Yeah.
things from the inbox. If they are equal, put one of them into the outbox. Discard the non-equal pairs. Repeat. That's the entirety of what this is supposed to do. So trying to understand this was first you got to jump down here. So then you continue. So you go to the inbox, right? So you go to the inbox, you copy to 0, then you go to the inbox, you subbed from 0 from slot 0, and then if it is 0, you go up top, and then after that you go to copy from 0, and then you go to the outbox. And then obviously if it's not 0, you jump it and it goes back to the top and it just redoes this. Let me show you what happened.
Okay.
So I can kind of understand this a little bit, but I don't understand how you're supposed to plan for variables you don't know. That's the thing, is like a lot of these variables are unknown. You're basically telling it to find a way to do mathematics without being able to do mathematics fully, which is weird, and I don't know how it's doing it. That's 0, so then he goes over there. So it's 1, 4, and 6. So the problem is that it was 1, 4, and 6, right? Get 2 things from the inbox. If they are equal, put 1 of them in the outbox. So if they are equal, right? 1, 4, and 6 aren't evens.
No, if they're equal to each other.
Oh, okay.
Right, like 4, then like equals 4, right? That's true. But 4 equals 3, for example, right? If the left side isn't equal to the right side, then they are not equal. Like the pair has to be equal. That's what they mean, I think. But it's still
really weird.
Weird. Like I don't know what the 3 spaces have to do with anything. Like 013 or like 012. You're saying sub 0.
Yeah, sub from slot 0. So this is 0, this is slot 1, this is slot 2. Each one of these numbers is a slot.
But what do you subtract from 0?
Yeah, so this is why I don't understand, because you know these variables, right? You know the variables, but you can't tell it specifically to do them. So you have to create a variable, you have to create a line of code that compensates for 2 values that you have no idea what they're going to be, and find a way to allow them to run. And I don't know how it's doing that. Like, how are you just using subtraction and jumping in a code to do a form of equation, creating, how are you using just subtraction and a few jumps in a code to create something that can do this if they're equal? Because there is no way to like define equal in this equation. There's no way to do that. So you have to use like a form of, I think, mathematics and probability. So you have to force it to be a certain percentage of being either really high or really low. And when you do that, then you get the actual answer, and you can add it over. But it's so weird. I still don't fully get it.
I mean, in this case, they're just testing for it being equal, right?
Yeah.
And you can do that with subtraction. Like I understand that. You just let's say in this case, in the inbox there's a 6 and then there's a 6, right?
Yeah.
So the next 2 numbers will be both 6s. So you pull out the 6, then you subtract 6 from 6. That's 0. Okay, they were equal, right? Put 6 into there.
Yeah, and so now that they're equal, and they're not 0, so they're not 0, you get to copy from the slot, and then you get to continue.
Exactly. Yeah.
But how does that compensate for negatives? That's the weird
if they're
part.
negative, they're not equal.
Yeah. So does that just immediately define it as 0?
But minus 2 minus 2 is
a minus and a minus. Yeah, so a minus and a minus multiplied would actually be a negative still. The 2 negatives would be a positive, and then a negative with negative. But then you have addition is a little bit different. So a positive and a negative would equal whichever one's bigger. So it's generally like positive, negative, positive. But negative Negative positive would be the same way. So it'd be whatever's bigger. And that's where my head breaks because I'm thinking about it mathematically. And then I think to myself, how does the game know that this is a negative? And if it's a negative, right? If it's a negative, does it count a really large negative or an equal negative as an equal, even though it's technically a negative? Or does it see the negative as underneath zero, so therefore it must be a zero, right? Like that's the kind of thing that that I think about that messes me up with this game. Was that I don't know how the game defines those ideas, so I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. Because it could be either or. A zero could always be or a negative could always be zero, right? Or it could always be just a higher number depending. So let me run through this and see if I can get two negatives and see what happens. Because I just don't know enough about the game. So okay, so there's a negative. It threw that one away. This is a 2 and a 2, which is 0. So the way that it's working. There's the negatives.
You can fast forward.
Yeah, I can fast forward. I'm looking for two negatives though. There we go. Perfect.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Because I need that answered. So first off, 7 is there. Okay, so 9 and 7. 9 and 7 equal -2. We tossed it. 8 and 8
That's
0.
-2.
So it does count them as positives or as wholes. Because the 2 8s that it just took, the 2 8s that it just took were -8, so they were equal. So it doesn't see a negative. It doesn't see a negative as a 0. So it's only a 0,
Interesting.
specifically a 0. So you see where I was just brain melting with this?
I mean, me too, right? Because I see these instructions and I'm immediately thinking assembly, right? So there's going to be a compare, there's going to be a test, right? Like instructions that are.
But it's only giving
basically
you
doing
like
this.
3 things. It only gives you 3 options to use for the code. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is like, there's more options, but you don't have access to them. So how the hell do you do it?
So you basically solved the problem in your head, but you just cannot solve it in this game. Right? Because
Exactly.
I also had it solved in my head. I would just put one number from the inbox into like index 0, the other one in index 1, and then compare. Like use the actual assembly
Right.
instruction, right? Compare, and then based on the flag,
Whichever
that
one was largest
results from this compare, jump.
would be
right?
would be moved. Would continue, and if not, it would just go back to the beginning of the code. Yeah. See, I'm thinking like a programmer, but this is fucking me up as a programmer. It's like a whole other
There
level
are
of
no
what the
compare
fuck.
statements. There are no
Yeah,
flags. This is very,
it's very
far off
hard.
from actual
Yeah,
programming. You really need to bend your brain a little bit.
yeah. That's why when I get to this problem, it just completely like takes me away. I'm just gone. I'm just fully gone with this one. Because now I have jump if negative, right? So that's cool. Jump if negative. But the problem is that when you write something, you're gonna know what some of the values are, right? You're gonna know what some of them are. And you have those statements like, you said like compare or greater than or equal to. We have those options in programming, but we don't have them
Yeah.
in the game, which makes it very complicated. Because it becomes crazy complicated because you have to find a way to do math. You have to find a way to do multiplication or division without actually doing multiplication and division with remainder slots. So you're basically starting to say, hey, this is algebra that's going into calculus. Have fun.
Yeah.
And for most people, don't necessarily need to know calculus because it doesn't pertain to all of the stuff. Because like me and you said, there's ways of being able to do that without having to do mathematics. Like the program itself will do it for you with
Yeah.
simple terms. So, uh,
I mean, it still depends. I mean, in game development, you definitely need mathematics
yeah,
for sure, 100%. Especially if you do like any kind of 3D work,
yeah.
then 100%.
Like you get vertices and then you get geometry in there, and it's just a whole clusterfuck of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's coming, but like, one step at a time, right? Because I was trying to get into Full Sail a while back, and I just decided that I couldn't because I didn't have any money for it. But what I was actually actively learning math again, and I went through Algebra 2 and I relearned, certain equations. Of course, I remembered I had to be reintroduced to PEMDAS because it's been a while, right? So
Really?
yeah, yeah, dude. The furthest. So here's the thing: when I studied math, it wasn't that bad, right? And like, so math wasn't that bad. Geometry wasn't that bad. I actually fairly enjoyed geometry. Um, Chemistry and stuff wasn't that bad. I actually really enjoyed those, and physics wasn't that bad, and I enjoyed those. So that wasn't too bad, right? The problem is when I got into Algebra 2, my teacher didn't teach. My teacher talked to the class and shot the shit with them and just hung out.
No.
And so she'd say, "Hey, you do this, and this," and she'd do that for like 15 minutes, and she'd spend the rest of the class just hanging out. And so everyone loved her as a teacher,
Mm.
but she was fucking awful because there was no way to get to understand what she was doing because running over a problem about 5 or 6 times and saying we're good and then just giving everyone homework is a terrible way to teach. A
No, it
terrible way to
is.
teach because you're not saying, okay, why does this do this? Why does this like you have all these questions and no one to answer them. And so obviously I didn't get much further than Algebra 2, and it wasn't because it was bad. It was because I literally couldn't ask anybody. So really, really frustrating. But I mean, I was doing easy multiplication and stuff when I was a kid. Like it wasn't hard. But like I said, I just got
No.
stonewalled in high school, and I got to Algebra 2, and I wanted to go further, but I didn't because by the time I had graduated, I had already done Algebra 2. I couldn't go to any AP class because I'd already graduated. So that's some weird ass nightmares where I haven't actually graduated and I have to redo a year, and it was fucking frightening. I almost skipped a grade, but they didn't want to transfer me to a different school. Like they didn't want to transfer me mid-year. I was like, you fuckers.
No.
All right, so here's something that's very similar, but this is brilliant, and this is basically just conceptualized coding. But they have if else statements and stuff. So
Oh, yeah,
so
like Scratch. Yeah.
yeah. So for this one, this problem is supposed to draw 10 shapes, fill in the missing value so that that 5 shapes are rotated 45 degrees, and the other 5 are rotated. And the other 5 shapes are not rotated at all. So what I'd say is if angle is this, rotate, and so I just have to create an extra else statement or just an else statement. Okay, so set angle to 0 and on. Creates the object, size 100, color blue. Don't need to worry about that. Repeat 10 times. Size. If size is greater than 60, I think. This is greater than 60. Set angle to 45. Else, set angle to 0. Square size. Go on. So I can't change that it's going to be 10 times. So I have to make 5 and 5.
Yeah,
Single-
it has to be 10.
Oh, it doesn't give me. I can't add anything in either, so I have to modify just what I have here. That makes it
Oh,
easier.
okay.
But I can move these around if I need to. I just can't add any other ones to it. So these are good. The repeats good. This needs to be there. If size, I'm not entirely sure because there's not a way
I
to.
mean, at the beginning,
The
before the
size is
loop,
100.
you set the size to 100, right?
Yeah, and I can't change it from
Yeah.
100. So
And if you take a look at the last line,
50. Oh, -10 size.
yeah, you
So
each
30.
each iteration of the loop, you subtract the size by 10, right? Yeah.
So 40. Here we go. That should work because that equals 100. 60 to 40 and 30. So what I'll say is, wait, hold on. I need it to be. I need
think
it to.
50 and 10 would be right.
Yeah, because it needs to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 to 10. Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking that, but I wasn't sure what the numbers were going to be just yet. So I was a little slower there. Oh, perfect, sweet. Yeah, that was a lot easier because I couldn't add anything in to fuck myself up.
Yeah.
But this is when it starts to get hard. Like some of these are hard, then they're easy, then they're hard, then they're easy. Just go back and forth. So complete the program to rotate the shapes and an alternating pattern of 45 degrees then 0, then 45 then 0. Okay, that's simple enough. All right, so size 100, angle starts at 0, colors blue, repeat 10 times. If angle is equal to 0, angle to 45, else set to 0. That should do it. That should be all I need to do. Because the else statement comes in and the size issues and everything don't matter. Let us
Could
see.
be, yeah.
Aha! Perfect.
Yeah.
Woot woot. I would have looked at that the other day and my brain would have melted. It's definitely doing something. I'm definitely learning, right? Complete the program so the shapes are also colored in an alternating pattern of blue, white, blue, white. Okay, so if this blue starts off with what? Come on, set color to blue, else set color to white. That should be it. Let me make sure. Square color size. Yeah, okay. So if it's blue, do blue. If it's yellow, do yellow. Or if it's white, do white. Okay, so blue, white, blue, white, blue, white. Should be all we need. Because the rotation and stuff don't matter. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, it's the same as before. Yeah.
Yep, just a simple pattern. Ta-da! And this is like $10 with the code that I got, but it's like $15 a month, and I'm on a trial. So this costs about $10 to $15 a month, which isn't that bad.
Yeah.
Duolingo I have paid for an entire year out. It was actually a Christmas present. I talked to my roommate's mom about how she was learning Spanish and I was on Duolingo learning Japanese. And it cost, like, for a year of Duolingo, it cost less money to get a family plan for a year. And the family plan is you and 5 other people get to learn a language for an entire year without having extra fees or anything. It's literally just, it's cheaper than, cheaper if not the same as what you would pay for a year as one person. So it makes no sense
Oh.
why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we ended up doing that. So until I think December or January of this coming year, I have Duolingo.
Hmm.
So real nice. All right, so I'll do one more on here, and then I'll go to the code thing, which is really early on right now. Okay, here's a program that uses a variable to draw squares decrease in size. Decreasing in size, okay. How many times? Okay, so how many times does the size variable get updated in this loop of the program? Size variable. Okay, so 15 times. Wait, no.
Yeah, should be
Yeah.
15.
Start off 16 actually. Wait, no. Updated, specifically updated. So not used, but updated. Yeah. So it gets updated 14 times or 15 times. If it was just in total, it would be 16 because it would start with this size. So yeah, 15.
In the loop itself, 15. Yeah.
Yeah, outside the loop it's 16. Here's the for loop in a program. For count from 1 to 10, print count. How many times does the for loop run? What? Okay, so
Fucking
counting, wouldn't
off
that
by 1 errors,
be
man.
I would say 10 immediately, but no, because you have 0 to 10. But for count from 1 to 10, would be counting would specifically be 9 because you start with 1. How many times
It
does the
depends
for
if
run the loop?
like this is stupid, kind of.
9?
Because it depends if the language, right? Like for example,
And
Python
okay,
or
10
Java
times,
or
yeah.
C++,
Does it
they
start at
handle it a bit
0?
differently. Like,
Yeah.
is it inclusive or exclusive?
Yeah, I got it
It's
wrong because
language
it's supposed to be
dependent.
10. Yeah, because I was
Okay.
thinking 9. I was thinking you start with 1 and then you add 9 to it, right? You go,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5. So I didn't
It
think,
depends if the last number, in this case 10, is inclusive or exclusive.
which it doesn't say. So
Yeah.
I lost
Bit of a
there.
gamble.
I wonder how many people that know about programming got that wrong. Because obviously there's not enough information.
A lot.
Update this program to print the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, well, if the count function works how I think it's going to work, it should be that.
Could be. Oh,
Oh,
you
now
take
you want to
from
be
0
0.
to 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
0
now
to
you want to
3.
be inclusive of 0. I see
Is it?
how it
Oh,
is,
okay.
you
0 to 4.
sneaky dick. Sneaky. Sneaky. That's mean. That's cruel and unusual punishment. That should have been the question before the other one. Loop crisp variables by 1 time loop runs. Okay, set the angle variable so that each shape rotates by 5 times the value of the count variable. Wait, so 5 times whatever the count is? That is a lot. That is a lot. If you're going 1 to 20, you want to do 5 times for the value of the count variable. That's
That is a lot.
it's like 100. That's 120, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, set the angle variable to count.
Oh, yeah, there are 3 boxes. Count. Oh, okay. Yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
So it would be multiplied by 5. So it does the
Yeah.
hard work for us, but I mean, the statement still makes your head twitch because that's a lot. I don't know if that's 120. Might be. I don't want to sit here and count the little spikes, so I'll just continue. That's an answer I don't need. This program angle is set to count before the loop for loop. What do you think will happen as program runs? Okay, so the angle is set with the count before the loop. What do you think will happen? Okay,
It
so
will cause
set
an error.
angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it can't go to count because count's below it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist yet. Yeah.
Yep. Unless we do what I just learned how to do. A void statement. I don't know what it's called in other languages. So the first line of the program tries to use count, but it can't use count because it doesn't get defined for the for. Yep. Okay. So a variable can't be used until it's been defined. Run the code to see the error. Okay. Don't know why I had to run the code to see the error. If we try to use count variable after the for loop, what do you think will happen? The count variable after the for? After the... Where's the for? Okay. What do you mean after the for?
Yeah, you have before, right? Like prior to the for loop, you have inside of the for loop, and then you have after the for loop.
Oh,
Right,
so just
using
underneath
count
here, yeah.
inside of the for loop, we already had that. Using
So,
count
I mean,
before
it should
the for loop.
it should work. It's not in the count, but it's after,
It
so it
won't.
should work. It won't?
It won't. No.
Oh, because this is the equivalent of brackets. So it's outside
Exactly.
the
Scopes.
bracket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Count is only
I was thinking in
alive
terms of
inside of the for
line
loop.
reading instead of actually using brackets and stuff. A fixed program so it runs without an error and rotates each shape 5 degrees more than the previous one. Well, that's simple. Roll square. Rotate. Set angle to count. Okay, so draw square 100. Set angle to plus or times 5. 5 degrees. Yeah. Angle. It would be plus, not times. What? So a fixed program sort runs without an error and rotates each shape 5 degrees more than the previous one. It does.
It rotates each shape 5 degrees more than the previous one. Can you add stuff to it? No. Right?
No, not this time, no. Draw the square, set the angle to plus 5, rotate angle. I mean, it can't rotate the angle without the
count.
rotation.
Not count plus 5. Angle plus 5. Set angle to angle plus 5. Not count plus 5. You cannot. Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
Why? What?
Fix the problem so it runs without an error and rotates each shape 5 degrees more than the previous one. I mean, it did work, right? It worked before. It did what it was supposed to do. It rotated. And it was 5 degrees. I mean, if I do times, it's going to be a lot bigger than it should be. And that's going to break. It wanted me to go through times? How does times work for that? How does multiplication work for that?
Wait,
Is it
what?
because it's going into degrees for angles? So an angle would be larger if multiplied? Is that why? Because it was larger? That's the only thing I can think of, is that it was because
each
the
shape
angle...
5 degrees more than the previous one. It does make sense, because if in the first iteration it's 0 times 5, right? You don't rotate it at all.
Yeah,
Next iteration it's 1 times 5. The next iteration it's 2 times 5, right? It's always in 5 increments, in 5-step increments. So it does make sense. But if
But
it's
why not
addition,
plus, though? Addition would be less, I'm assuming? It'd be less of an angle?
you want 5 like increments of 5, right? You want 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. And each shape 5 degrees more than the previous one. But it's always the angle always increments by 5.
But isn't that less but the
If it's
same if
addition,
you use addition?
Yeah,
It'd be less.
in
It
the
would be
case of
less of
addition,
an
it would
angle.
be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? Like it's not increments of 5, it's increments of 1.
Oh, okay. That
Right?
makes
Like, or
sense
not
now.
1, 2, 3, but like we are starting at 5, right? Count plus 5. So it'd be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So the times makes actually a lot of sense.
Update the size variable using count so that the shapes decrease in size. Division. Division would be a lot bigger. Size is 150 divided by the count. Wait, no. 1, 2, and okay, so for 1 it would be the same. That might work. Yep, there we go.
It does, yeah.
Yep, because division is larger. It's a larger and
Yeah.
more even change than negative would be. The count variable does 1, 2, 3. So if 150 count results in the. Okay, so my issue was that I was hyper focused on the multiplication number, for that. I wasn't thinking about the base count, which is 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
So if we have addition, it would just be 1, 7, 8. So it wouldn't be 5s. Which the following rows will result
Exactly.
in a sequence of numbers 145, 145. So you're going -5 per, so it'd be, yeah, it would be this one. Yeah. Run the program to see it in action. Okay. Yep, -5, -5 here. Complete the program so that. Skip. Sorry, that flute thing is really loud. Complete the program so that it draws squares that shrink in size by 5 each time. The first square should be should have the size of 145. So set
That's the same
to.
thing we just have seen,
We
right?
just watched, yeah. There's 4. Okay, so I go 150 minus count times 5.
Yeah.
Ta-da! Using those expressions with the for loops counter variable. For example, the tool is crucial to code in spreadsheets and accounting software. Yeah, spreadsheets is accounting software. The thing that I would never want to touch if I could because my brain would go, eh. My brain would take a dump on that spreadsheet is what it would do. There would be particulates of my brain all over the spreadsheet. You'd never know because it'd be tiny and everywhere. So yeah, this is brilliant. So you can see, like, I've only been doing this for a week, and it's getting a little bit more complex as it goes along.
But it does look very good. Like very good structure.
Yeah, it's kind of like Duolingo, but for language, I've noticed.
Yeah.
And you can do more than that. Like, this is just programming courses. If I go to courses right here, they've got programming, computer science programming, science, data analytics. They've got new courses here, which so modeling multiple variables, including probability vectors, creating coding, or creative coding, which I'm currently doing. Case studies, rental value of Airbnb. Then you have math, and this is something I'm probably going to get into after computer science. So we have like solving equations, graphs, algebra, quadratics, then mathematical fundamentals, number theory, number bases, infinity, math history. When you get geometry, you get geometry vectors, beautiful geometry, geometry 1, geometry 2, You get logic, logic 2, logic. By the way, logical thinking makes my head hurt. Like it
Yeah, it is.
actually makes my head hurt. It makes my head fucking hurt. And it makes me scared that people can actually think like that all the time because it's painful. Thinking in riddles, it's mental gymnastic riddles is what it is. So then you have calculus, trig, calculus fundamentals, integral calculus. Like I could literally use this website to be a better coder just by getting through all of this.
Yeah.
So I actually really am happy with that. It would take me forever to get through it all, but you know, whatever. It's learning, right? You're the one that wins. So okay, so here, let me do. You want to do it? Let me show you a logic one. This is funny.
Okay.
If you do easy shit now, I'm gonna be pissed because the one that I was doing was like this robot does this and can't do that and does this. The milk is 3 days old, 3 days older than the cocoa milk, and then the berry milk is 2 days younger than the vanilla milk. Wait, vanilla milk is 3 days older. Hold on, berry milk is 2 days younger than vanilla milk. So we go berry, vanilla, cocoa. But that's not right because the vanilla
Cocoa
milk,
is the youngest, right?
yeah, cocoa is the no, it's older. Cocoa is 3 days older than the cocoa, or vanilla milk is 3 days older than the cocoa milk,
Yeah,
and
so
then the
cocoa
berry
cannot
milk
be
is
the
2 days
oldest.
younger. Yeah,
Yeah,
the berry milk,
exactly. This
the
way.
berry milk is 2 days younger than vanilla milk. Okay, so yeah, it would be this. All right, here we go. The jack isn't. If we have cards in a row, jack, queen, and king, and the ace, and all these have the faces about each other. Each card is. And these are some facts of okay, so the jack isn't in the 3 spot. And okay, the king isn't next to the ace. Okay, that's general. We can figure it out later. The queen isn't next to either the jack or the ace. What? The queen isn't near the jack or the ace. Next to, so
That
that
is
would be in
really
between.
headache inducing.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the jack isn't in the 3 spot. The king isn't next to the ace. So these are all if not statements. So that's hard. So okay, let's just throw them all up and then queen isn't next to either the jack or the ace. Okay. That would only leave the queen to be in one spot. Because she's not next to the king or the ace. Isn't next to either the jack or the ace. So she's got to be next to the king.
Yeah.
The jack isn't in the 3 spot, which it's not. And the king isn't next to the ace. Wait, what? That breaks everything. Hold on. The king isn't next to the ace, which means the jack, but she's
Other
not
way
near the jack
around.
or the ace.
The queen goes to the 4, and the king replaces the ace. And then the jack replaces the ace. Yeah. And then if you switch jack and ace now, it should be right. Should be correct.
Jack's not in 3. That's a check. We got
Yeah,
that one.
that's true.
The king isn't next to the ace, so we got that. That's true.
Yeah.
The queen isn't next to either the jack or the ace because she's next to the king, so that's true. Okay, yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's the good shit. Here's the one that fucked me up the other day. Questions like this. So Wise wants to be in either the 1 or the 2nd spot. Yang doesn't want to be next to either Ruby or Wise. And then Blake wants to be next to both Pyra and Wise. So Pyra and Wise? Wait. Blake wants to be next to both Pyra and Weiss. Yang doesn't want to be next to either Ruby or Weiss. Weiss. Blake wants to be next to Pyra and Weiss.
What?
Damn. So Blake wants to be next to both Pyra and Weiss. Correct.
Oh, you
Yang.
can put Yang. Ruby, no, fuck.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So
work.
these are right. These are right the way they are. So the question is, where does Ruby have to go? Blake doesn't want to be next to Pyra or Weiss. Or wants to be next to Pyra or Weiss. Yang doesn't want to be next to Ruby or Weiss. Does that mean that Ruby is over here? I mean, it's like this. There we go. I would say maybe I just have them, on the wrong
Okay.
sides.
Yeah.
But the other one should have been right as well, because it didn't make sense to not be. Because Yang didn't have an issue with Weiss, did he? Oh yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, it should have worked still.
But I've got to go now. It was great talking to you.
Did I give you a headache?
Oh, like
Those
the
logical
logic stuff is
things.
really
Ow.
something else.
The logic stuff is like walking on Legos with your brain.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Just fuck.
But all the other stuff, it's all fine. Like it's all really good educational material.
Yeah. Next I gotta do this, which is I'll just go into the thing real quick so I can judge you before you leave.
Okay.
So basically, you have the commands here that they've made. It's in C. So you have these commands, and you can you input them in to do what you need to complete the mission. So basically, you write code with custom variables to do what you want it to do.
Okay.
And it gets more complicated as you go.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And this is $10 a month, and I figured, why the hell not? And once I get further along enough, I'm going to start doing coding game. I just don't know the structure well enough yet. But I have to get further in this because this is still stages where it's actually before where I'm at right now in learning. So, but yeah, I try to do this for 2 to 4 hours a day, and I recently, unless my sleep schedule flips, I've been doing this from about 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. Central Time. I don't know what time zone you're in.
Germany, so CET. Yeah.
So you're like 7 hours ahead, I think.
Yeah, it's 12 for me right now.
12 in the
12 p.m.
Yeah.
Wait, is it a.m.? No, p.m.
midday, basically. Midday.
Yeah, midday. Yeah.
Early day, yeah. So, and it's 5 a.m. for me. So yeah. Well, I mean, it was great having you and hanging out. I don't know if I'm going to make a channel specifically for this. I have a Discord channel already. If you want, you can feel free to join in there and just DM me if you ever want to like talk or anything. Because I mean, as someone that's on their infancy stage of learning, I would love to pick your brain and ask questions and hang out. So if you're available during the early deadline,
questions, yeah, if you have any questions, you can just DM me. Like, shoot DM. I will look into it.
All right. I should be awake during the times that you're awake because right now my sleep schedule is weird as hell. But it's not bad. I mean, I'm going to sleep at like 1 o'clock in the evening and waking up at like 8 or 9 in the evening and then staying awake.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not awful. It's just tilted. It was awful. It's better now. But I'm probably
You
gonna do
could
this.
always fix it. Huh?
Well, I mean, I could always fix it, but because I am basically disabled and I don't have any schedule to adhere to, I
Yeah.
basically don't like my schedule just flips when it wants. I try to stay consistent, but then it just depends. Like, am I gonna have to do something today that's gonna keep me awake? That's the one question that switches me, right? Because my entire household, everyone in the house stays awake. Stays awake until like 4 o'clock anyway, most of the time. So even if I do get a schedule where I'm awake during the day, there is a need of my roommates to hang out with that will happen randomly to push me to stay awake later. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty much in the sweet spot right now for my schedule. So I'm probably gonna be doing coding for a couple more hours, and then I'll boot up 76 and play with Ozzy because he wanted to play. And then I don't know. After that, I might stream some Duolingo. Like I've been just bitch slapping my brain every day, man. Every day. It's not happy with me, but it'll get used to it. I swear.
You will get used to it.
But you have a good one. It was wonderful hanging out with you. And I'm always hanging out
Likewise.
around. So if I'm awake, just DM me. And I'll
Alright.
DM you if I have any questions as well.
Okay, do that.
Well, thank you for your time, bud.
Bye.
Be safe.
Bye.
Did Tell message me? No, she didn't. Okay, we're cool. Add friend request. Oh, there we go. Over here. Alright. You say the password of the delivery door. The password is in the hints. Click the blue hints button. Oh yeah, I can see better. Most levels have hints that can help you when you're stuck. Click next to scroll through all the hints for a level. The next for this level, click next to find the password delivery. Say hush. The password delivery door is hush. Use the say command to say the password. Okay. Pull you because you don't need to be there. Pull you, you don't need. Get rid of you because you don't need to be there. All right. Move right, say password, and then we're gonna move right one more time. Commands. Yeah, close enough. Seriously? Close enough. That's your comment? In about 6 hours into 8. C++, obviously. start the level. Okay, so it's gonna be hero dot act. Wait, what did she say? I don't need to. Cool. I finally got to enough damage. I don't have to attack each twice. There we go. Okay, so it's gonna be hero move right. Have hero attack door. And I don't know if it's going to take 2 hits. Assume that it won't. And hero move right. Going to be a total of 1, 2, 3, 1. Then we're going to go ahead and move down 3. Hero move down. And then we're going to have hero attack. 2. Because he's a big guy, I'm assuming we'll need to attack him twice. And then we're going to do hero move right. That's it. That should be the entire code. Need one. I only need one attack. Okay, so one attack. We're gonna move hero down 2. Try that. Door, doop, doop, doop. It's an attack. Oh, okay. So take change. Hero moves down. That should be perfect. Door, jump down. Go here. Back here. Fires 3 hits? No? Oh no, he's dead. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. I could do back. See how that works. Boop, and we're done. Vision Ogre looks big and slow. Movement will help you avoid his deadly. But I just need to like juke around him. Alright, so we'll do move up. Then hero move down. Hero move right. Hero up. And go left and down. Right. Oh, it's beat the road. Okay, move down. Move right. Up. And move right. If this works, I won't have to take any. The archer will do the damage. Oh no, no. Oh no. We'll kill him. Okay, that worked. Up, move down, move left. left, right. Up. Should be it. Yeah, I'm just gonna fight him. Right here, I'll move up. Maybe that'll make it wait. And hero, deck. Deck him 3 times. And move to the right. Do that 3 times. He's still alive. Alright, let's try it again. He's still alive? Dude, seriously? Okay. down. Right. Up. 13%. G. 13%. Oh, loops finally. Put the fireballs by dancing right and left while use while true loop to repeat forever like this. While true, you remove left. Okay. No executes in the order it is written. Loop repeat a block code multiple times. While true, hero moves right. I don't have an if statement though. That sucks. While true, hero moves right. Ah, I see. It should be all I need to write actually. Should be it. A little bit. Some fewer than 4 codes. Few code statements. Okay. Oh. Galoop. It gives a distraction and it goes that find one of the nearest. Turn the nearest of all units items. That is right. Whether pet move XY. The pet who sets pet. Jeez. Play one while true, hitting 4 commands to survive this level. Left. Down. The 20 base stat levels. Level lifetime fulfillment reach. Uh. My passcode. Why are you going on your own? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I didn't tell you to run. You're literally killing yourself, dummy. Yeah, it's simple. I do upright, upright, up. You and the stupid placeholder song. Can you? No. Screw it. I'm going back to this one. I am so tired of that stupid flute you put in a placeholder between every song that you do. and you think that people won't notice. Ah, so annoying. Yep. Okay, here to move right. Oh, here to move up. There we go. What I could do is 2, 2, and then 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That should work. Okay. A little bit halfway. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let me find someone that is coding as well. And I shall say hello to them. What is this? What am I looking at? Thank you for being here. Have a great day. I will be back in a few hours to play Vault 76.